Hello YouTubers and welcome aboard. I am Noob Flyboy X and welcome back to F1 2018 career mode ahead of the Belgian Grand Prix, round 13 I believe. Could be round 14, I've sort of lost count while I'm recording this, but oh well. I start off here looking at my options for setups on the car. I'm trying to find something that can get me through Rouge and Radeon at a decent speed, but will also leave me a decent top speed on the straightaway, because I want downforce without myself sliding around. And I think that is the one right there, as my reaction will tell. By Jove, I think I've got it. So with my setup sorted, that is the end of practice 3. It wound up raining and we had some intermediate conditions for a while, and it wasn't much fun. Here's the other thing though. Evidently I forgot to record qualifying, so that's a bit unfortunate. We'll get on to a tour of the lap once we get underway in the race. But I did pretty well in qualifying. I qualified 3rd, and there you can see me upping the difficulty of the AI once again. We're up to 80%. We'll see how that treats me when we go to the race itself.
In the 48 races held at Spa between 1950 and 2015, the race winner has only started from pole position on 16 occasions. Qualifying yesterday may have set the order for today, but expect the unexpected here at the Belgian Grand Prix. As the saying goes, of course, anything can happen. You know what? It usually does. Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Iceman completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Nico Hulkenberg, and Verstappen, Bottas, Ricciardo, Alonso, and Kimi Raikkonen. They've taken the grid penalty. Leclerc, Grosjean, Sergio Perez, and Ocon, Van Dorn, Gasly, Marcus Ericsson, and Kevin Magnussen. Hartley and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, La Source is always pretty tight, but we've got a clear run. Remember the runoff if you need it.
So I mentioned that I qualified 3rd, and I did, but a penalty for Kimi Raikkonen demotes him out of 2nd and promotes me up to 2nd on the grid behind Sebastian Vettel. So that'll be good, a good starting position from the race. It'll be just about clear into turn 1, which is usually pretty tight. Going for the 2-stopper today. We started on the softest set of tires, which will pretty much always require a 2-stop around here. Some other cars around me may be going for 1-stops, notably Lewis Hamilton, who's starting P3. But here we go. Let's see how we can make our strategy work today, as it's lights out and away we go. Vettel gets away very well off the line there. I end up with a bit of wheel spin, and there's Hamilton up alongside me. Brake a little late trying to hold him off and touch the back of Vettel's Ferrari a little bit. Hamilton's by me anyway. I'm hoping I can get into the slipstream behind him up here onto the back straightaway as we begin our lap here. Here's Rouge and Radeon. That's Radeon actually, as the F1 meme folk will know. Run a little wide there off the exit, but we're alright. Into the DRS zone. No DRS yet, since it's just the first lap, but in Hamilton's slipstream we are closing. Brake a little early just because I can't quite see what the racing line is. Don't want to slam into the back of him. Damaged my front wing this early in the race. Back and forth section through here. Looking pretty good. Small straightaway. You can get a bit of a passing opportunity here if you're good at it. But that corner is very easy to overdo if you're not careful. Coming down the hill now. Fairly fast left-hander there. I've chucked it up into rich revs, rich mix for the engine, and try to get us on on a faster pace. Through Pouon there, the double left-hander. That's a pretty fast corner if you go in correct, but I didn't go in with the proper entry, so it was a bit slower. It's allowed Verstappen to catch me just a little bit and allow the 2 leaders to get away. Checking my tires there just because the Ultra Softs, I think, is it Ultra Soft? No, these are Super Softs that I'm on, are a little worn just because these are the tires I qualified on, but oh well. Continuing through here, we got through a bit more of a right-hand complex on to what is, I think, the back straightaway, though it's a bit meandering rather than being straight, completely straight. So here we are, down to pretty much the last sector of the lap, the bus stop chicane here. I don't know why it's called that. I'll need to look up my Spa lore. There we are, 2nd DRS zone and back onto the front straightaway, and there we are, completing lap 1 in 3rd place. So we've lost a spot off the grid. That's not too bad, though. We're just trying to hold off Verstappen, though, as he tries to sneak up the inside there into turn 1. We've got him for now, though. Both Vettel and Hamilton are starting to get away. The superior mix of good power unit in the Mercedes, as well as decent aero, and the same on the Ferrari, is allowing them to pull away quite well. The other top-performing car on the grid is that Red Bull, driven by Verstappen. There he comes, looking up the inside. I twitch over to the right to block him a little bit. He's still right there, though. I have to be careful and try to keep him behind me if I want to keep this position, but he's looking pretty aggressive today. I still haven't forgiven him for what he did in Austria, but I don't know. We'll see about if we can fight him or not. If we can hold it together through here, we might be good, except there is another passing opportunity coming up that I forgot to mention. But the main one is back on the straightaway there. But here, I go a little wide into the entry of Pouan, and there's Verstappen. He's found a nice, neat way up the inside of me there. So, a little bit of an issue there as we head through the middle sector of the lap here. We're going to have to see if we can keep with him and gain that position back. Fourth would still be a pretty good place to finish, though, if we were to stay here. We'll just have to see how it looks from the rest of the race. Carlos Sainz coming up behind me a little bit. On lap 3, though, here's where the main passing opportunity of the lap is. Despite the superior aero in that Red Bull, his engine is not nearly as good on the straight. With the DRS, the slipstream, rich revs, and the big Mercedes engine in my Williams, of course. There we go, drag racer style up past him on the straightaway. That's about the last we're going to fight with him, though, as he comes back at us here on the end of that lap in the final sector on the last straightaway there. He brakes a little early into that corner. He doesn't carry as much speed as I expected. Another small tap, but we're about done fighting with him, as on the end of lap 3, it's already time to get off of these super soft tires. So we're just going to get onto our strategy right away. This particular time to stop is going to put me out behind the entire field. So I'll have some nice clean air to run in. Hopefully that will prevent us from being vulnerable to an overcut by any of the other teams. Carlos Sainz would be the main one to watch out for that. But seeing as how we'll be able to run in some clear air, it's down to us just to make sure that we get some good lap times in and keep ourselves in a good position from here. Out we go. But as we finish up the front straightaway on that lap and into the complex there's Brendan Hartley out of the race, already with a mechanical issue. His teammate Pierre Gasly will join him later in the race, making it a pretty darn awful day for Toro Rosso. Meanwhile, on lap 6, I've caught up to the back of the pack here. Marcus Ericsson has just been passed by my teammate Lance Stroll, so it's good to see that Stroll actually has the capability of passing people. We just need to make sure the car is better and, you know, not the worst in the field. And we should be able to do something, as here we're going 3 wide down the Kemmel Straight and into the braking zone. We're still 3 wide, wheel to wheel, all of us. Looks like Ericsson may have gotten pushed off the track there, and he's fighting back against Stroll. Stroll's got the position, though. So we've wound up coming out of that complex the same as we went in. Bit sloppy out of the exit there. Down into this corner. Trying to go around the outside, but I just don't have the power and the grip combined to get around Ericsson. But it is game on, even if we're just back here fighting for the wooden spoon, effectively. I finally do get Ericsson properly on lap 7 as we come down into the first corner. A little bit of a bump with Stroll as we go through La Source there, I think. Not sure exactly how to pronounce that first corner. But we're through there. That's going to prove to be a very good overtaking spot, as well as this back straightaway for the rest of this race. We've got Slipstream and DRS, though, on Stroll, trying to catch Carlos Sainz, who actually has managed to overcut us effectively, coming out of the pits. Going around the outside here of Stroll, I'm trying here. Looks like he thought he was going to get squeezed out there, though I was trying to leave him room, and he's backed out for me. So now I'm left to pursue Carlos Sainz. That Renault is better through the middle sector here, where it's all of the twisty section. But we are, of course, much better in a straight line with the big power unit. So once again into turn 1, later on the brakes and up the inside, and there we go. Up next is our former rival, Kevin Magnussen, as Bottas comes out of the pit lane there just behind us. We've actually switched rivals at this point in the season, but the next lap, Bottas has actually passed me and Magnussen both, so it's Magnussen who's still our target. Here we go, looking up the inside at the end of the straightaway once again. Magnussen is still there, but he's dropped back as well. He also, like Stroll, was thinking he'd probably just get squeezed out there. Though again, I'm trying to leave room, though I'm a bit messy out of the exit. Put a wheel in the gravel there. but I'm able to get on the brakes again and make this corner fairly nicely. Now it's time to pursue Bottas, though I doubt we'll actually be able to catch him. That Mercedes is very quick around this track. Here, though, is an interesting part that'll set up the rest of my race on the beginning of lap 11. I've passed Romain Grosjean, my new rival, in the pit lane. But as we come out of the pits for our second stop at the beginning of lap 13, Grosjean is back ahead of us. He's that one that is in the last points-paying position of 10th there. Our two-stop has put us a little ways down the order, so we're going to have to do a bit of work here if we want some points. Charles Leclerc, though, is going to make a challenge of it behind me. He's coming up with the slipstream of the DRS. He's not quite close enough to make a move, though, so I can focus my attention ahead for now, because I'll start gapping him later on. I've already got Grosjean in my sights as we begin lap 15 up the outside into the first corner this time. Grosjean brakes a little early. He's not going to slam into us. He knows he doesn't want to compromise his race. We may just be fighting for the last of the points-paying positions here, but it would be good even if he can get that 1 point. Up next will be Kimi Räikkönen, who of course started down the order, so he's still back here as well. Even though he's on a 1 stop, our 2 stop has put us even with him. He's trying to get past the pink Force India of Esteban Ocon just ahead of him. He's actually having a lot of trouble with Ocon. It was Ocon who I was going to pass first at some point, but he actually got past Räikkönen, so I am now dueling with the Ferrari as we head once again into the Rouge Raidillon complex, one of the fastest corners on the circuit, on the calendar even, rather. Little bit slippery through there, and that's compromised our run. We've got the DRS, of course, but we're a bit too far behind to take advantage of slipstream on the long straightaway. Into the braking zone. Looks like Kimi had a go at Esteban Ocon, but couldn't make it stick as we got into the corners here. Grosjean's still looking for a way past me. He's got DRS, of course, on me on that long straightaway. So we'll just have to see how it pans out from here. We're going to stick with Kimi Räikkönen as we go into Eau Rouge and Raidillon again on lap 16. I've got a better run through this time, so I think I'll be able to get him. I'm close enough that I'm easily in the slipstream. Open up the DRS. Starting to save fuel by now. I had a lot of extra fuel at the beginning of the race, but I've burned that off by this point. Into the braking zone, up the inside, and there we go. We've got him. So hopefully I'm now going to go after Esteban Ocon, who's just in that Force India up the road, which by this point is very similar to my Williams, I think, in terms of performance. But Kimi Räikkönen has other ideas. He's summoned up some sisu, some bravery, as we go into Eau Rouge and Raidillon on lap 19. There he goes around the outside. That is a brave place to make an overtake. Mark Webber style on Fernando Alonso from a couple of years back. Fortunately, I'm still in his slipstream, even though he's got DRS. I'm able to stay with him. But Grosjean's coming in now up my inside. He wants some of this action as well. It's a 3-car fight as we're on lap 19 of 22. The end stages of the race, it looks like is going to be a 3-way duel between my Williams, one of the 2 Haas cars, and the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen. But Grosjean's got his old teammate. I'm down 2 places. It's all getting a bit messy as we head toward the final stages of the Grand Prix. Here we go again, up through Raidillon and Eau Rouge onto the straightaway. This is the only spot I can make an overtake with the power unit in my Williams, and the air is still not being good. Grosjean defends the inside. Räikkönen goes further to the inside and dives him. Räikkönen back up to 9th. Grosjean sticking with him, though, as we head down into this complex once again. I'm just watching the party at this point. I'm waiting for them to slow each other up with their squabbles, or, you know, just try to get close through braking, and I have there, but even so, it's being tricky to pass them, because, again, I'm not so good in the curvier sections of the track later on, but I can still rely on La Source for my passing opportunities here. Grosjean defends the inside, but I go through the outside again, right up to the back of Kimi Räikkönen. Grosjean's still there on the inside, but under acceleration, I've got him. That may be a factor of the AI difficulty still not being 100%, but whatever the case, I've got the Haas. And now we are in pursuit of that Ferrari once more. We are again close enough. I think I'm going to make the pass here, and it's lap 21. All I'll have to do is survive this lap and then one more. There we go, and I'm up to 9th. That looks like it's going to be my finishing position. So, as long as I can hold it together. A little slow on the exit, though, but that's just held up Räikkönen and Grosjean. And hopefully I can make them fight with each other more and allow myself to get away. Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault actually behind us is closing in as well. So it might end up a 4-way fight on the last lap. We'll see how quickly Hulkenberg can get up here. As we head down once again towards Fuan, Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap, but I'm not concerned about him at the moment. He is by now leading the race, but he's in a completely different race than us, basically. We're just fighting over the last of the points-paying positions here. I think I don't have to worry about Kimi until that back straightaway again, but here he is as we head into the final corners. He gets a little close and spooks me a little early onto the brakes, and then very sneaky up my inside, and then my outside at the bus stop chicane. And I've got all the work to do again. I'll need to pass him with the DRS on the main straightaway once more. Grosjean and Hulkenberg are fighting behind, and Hulkenberg is actually taking Grosjean as well. The thing is, though, Kimi's actually just leaped away from me. He's a little far ahead, suddenly. I'm not sure how he got that much acceleration, but in any case, it's going to make passing him a bit more difficult. I'll still get DRS, as we can see here, onto that straightaway, but I'm a bit too far behind again to take advantage of that slipstream, which is very, very powerful in this straightaway, and that's pretty much the last place I can reliably pass, unless I can get him on the very back twisty section, or onto the front straightaway if I can just get some acceleration down faster than that Ferrari, but that's unlikely. Looks like the last of my opportunities is about gone. Hulkenberg even had a look at me up the inside, so that's going to be the end of the race. It's going to be P10 and 1 point here in Belgium.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes then are on top today.
So with that result, Sebastian Vettel will bring himself closer to Valtteri Bottas, who remains in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Mercedes, though, will increase their lead, I think, in the Constructors' Championship today, with Kimi being so far down the order. In whatever case, though, it looks like Red Bull is actually out, with both of their drivers out of the Drivers' Championship, though, as Daniel Ricciardo was leading the two of them and needed to finish third to stay in it today, but only managed fifth behind Valtteri Bottas. For myself, it's just 1 point, but that's all right. What's important is that we've got some research points to spend and some upgrades that will be ready by the next race. And the next race suits our car a lot. It is the Italian Grand Prix next time, and we're bringing a power upgrade, an aero upgrade, a chassis upgrade. Hopefully we won't be the bottom performing car and we'll be able to take it to some of the other teams in the straights. But thank you very much for watching this episode, and have a nice day.